Hi, good evening. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Tonight, Starmer and Khan are in Brazil. Nuts. Whilst London and the United Kingdom as a whole burns. Plenty to talk about. Get putting your comments up now, please. This is going to be a cracker. So, as Britain faces shocking levels of violence, whether we're talking about the lady in Warsaw who was stabbed 19 times in the head and in the heart, or whether we're talking about the dog walker, Wayne, being killed, murdered, or the man getting his money out of the bank being murdered by a migrant, there's no doubt we've had a bad couple of weeks full of violence and full of fear. Then we had the train rampage, more on that in a moment. And then Keir Starmer and Sadiq Khan, well, they've both chosen to go to Rio de Janeiro for COP30, leaving behind a country that I say is right on the edge. Do you agree with me? Why on earth does Starmer have to go? Well, we know why he's gone. He's running away from his problems here with his crooked Chancellor, Rachel Thieves. And also, he still hasn't answered the questions on Mandelson. He doesn't want to do Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday. And I'll tell you why. Because he's a chicken. He's a coward. Sadiq Khan, well, he's gone with Michael Bloomberg. I don't know whether he's paying his fare. But they've gone on a separate private jet. They'll be meeting up with Prince William. I don't really know why he has to do his big global thing in Brazil. Have none of these idiots learnt or heard of a thing called Zoom or the internet? They're meant to be saving the bloody planet. They're meant to be hugging a tree, and they're all flying in on private jets to hobnob it with people like Bill Gates. These stinking hypocrites completely disgust me. What about you? But getting back to domestics for a minute, after the horrific train rampage, that's left people genuinely terrified to travel. And the police have said, we're going to put extra coppers at the stations till Tuesday. Well, does the threat disappear after Tuesday? I don't know. And of course, the senseless murder of that man simply for walking his dog. Millions of us right across the UK are asking, where is the leadership? The simple facts are he could have sent Lammy to deal with COP30. He could have gone and hugged a tree. As long as there was Jaffa cakes, he'd have been on the plane, wouldn't he? Khan, what a waste of Londoners' money, him going. But it gets worse. Have you heard of a woman called Tracy Brabin? She used to be an actress. She was in Coronation Street years ago. Well, she's the mayor of Yorkshire or West Yorkshire or something. She's gone as well. They're all going loco down in Acapulco or wherever it is in Rio on a big fat freebie. All of them are self-serving pigs. We could have just sent Prince William. He could have reported back and we could have left it there. But no, everybody, choo-choo, is on the gravy train. But getting back to here, families are scared to walk the streets. Now commuters must be feeling unsafe when they get on trains. London itself, our capital city, despite what they say when they massage the crime figures, London, the greatest city in the world, is broken, just like the rest of the UK, with crime spiralling, not enough coppers on the streets, and when they are there, they do two-tier policing, as you know. They don't bother with the Hamas supporters, but you dare be a Tommy Robinson supporter, you're going to get your skull cracked. And, of course, public trust has completely collapsed. Yet instead of facing the nation, putting an arm round us, I don't know if I'd like that, but Starmer has left it to his Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, who was in Parliament today saying absolutely jack shit that we didn't know already about this terrible attack at the weekend. And, of course, David Lammy, the Jaffa Cake King, they're fronting our response. Let me be clear. That's not leadership, that's avoidance. In times of crisis, a prime minister should lead from the front. He should speak directly to the public and stand with those who are suffering. Do you remember when he did his speech after Southport when he called us all far-right thugs? He's not even done one of them. He's not even made one of his poxy little videos. What is this man made of? Not much, as far as I can see. So tonight I'm asking, why are Starmer and Khan in Brazil whilst Britain is in chaos, in turmoil? Do they at all understand what ordinary people like you and I are living through with the cost of living and the rest of it, and the fear of crime, the concern over the flip-flop warriors getting in at Dover? And I'm also asking, what does real leadership look like in moments like this? And have we got any leaders at all in British politics? Join the chat. Have your say. Write down what you want to say at the bottom of the video, and we'll come to you and your views as the show progresses. Also, I'm just going to say, we've got to be a little bit careful what we say about Anthony Williams, the man who's charged with 11 counts of attempted murder. But there's big questions to be asked. Like, you know, we can talk about this part of it. These new allegations that on Friday and on Saturday, he was involved in allegedly other violent encounters in places like in a barbershop and indeed on the streets of Peterborough. The allegation being that a 14-year-old was stabbed. You got to ask the question, why didn't the police apprehend him? And she was very careful, Mahmood, today. She said he wasn't known to security services. But then I thought the Tories asked a good question, which was he known to the wider police? Because if not, why not? That's what we've got to be asking. Obviously, we've got to wait for the trial. We've got to be very careful about prejudice in it. But what I'm saying, I mean, if you see the stories that are flooding the internet and flooding the newspapers, this is another example, isn't it? It's another example of too little, too late. And, oh, we're going to learn lessons. It'll never happen again. Absolute crap. You know it'll happen again. And I don't know about you, I've got no confidence in any of our political leaders at the moment. The Tories were dreadful. They're trying to up their game. Nigel Farage did a load of U-turns today in his big speech. I don't know what that was about. But Starmer, there's no way that Starmer should be in Brazil. He's flown out on his big jumbo jet to save the world. They've also cleared a load of the Amazon forest, haven't they, so they can all land their big jets there. These people are stinking hypocrites. And they think we don't care. We don't realise. Well, I'll tell you something. I realise. I care. I'm fed up to the back teeth of it. It's just bang out of order. So let's get talking. If you want to join in, put a comment there and we'll come to you as soon as we can. If you want to donate some cash, feel free. Click the little $sign, anything you fancy or you can afford. Or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and you can either buy a coffee or a beer, whatever you fancy. Thanks for all your donations so far. That's how we keep this going. And also as well, if you want to join my YouTube page, it's John Gaunt TV. Just go there and subscribe. It's completely free. A little pop-up will come up asking if you want to subscribe. Do so, and then you'll always know when I'm doing a show. So there we are. Let's get cracking. Who should we start with? Let's start with Den Spinks. He says, good evening, John. Good evening, Den. Good to have you on board. Mank Dave has sent a wave. That's all a bit modern to me. I don't really understand it. My heart is broken today, he says Maggie Young, one of my regulars on Facebook. Why is that, Maggie? Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine how those poor people felt on that horror train. We are on our own. Nobody is protecting us. I can't really argue with that, Maggie. It would appear that the train driver played a blinder and also one of the train people who jumped in and took a lot of the stabbing and a lot of the blows from young girls But the bottom line is, you know, we all praised the coppers and said, wasn't it great that within 8 minutes they had this person in custody? But now, as more details come out, you've got to ask the question, why wasn't he apprehended when he went into the barber shop? I've seen the video. You've all seen the video with a bloody massive knife. He should never have been getting on that train. They should have all had a search out for him. Don't they do that anymore? Like used to do in Dixon and Dock Green and Z cars. There's a maniac in Peterborough city centre. I suppose they're not allowed to give descriptions anymore, are they? But in the old days, it would be a black fella, massive beard, got a knife in his hand, dressed in black. Don't let him get on a train. Don't let him get out of Peterborough. Apprehend him. Everyone would hear it in the panda cars. Everyone would be ready. But no. I know there's going to be an investigation by the Independent Police Complaints Commission, evidently, about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. But Cambridge, that guy who came on and did the press conference yesterday, Billy Big Boots, he was, wasn't he? Oh, yeah, we did this, and we don't want you to speculate. And we had him in custody, the suspect, or two suspects at that point, within 8 minutes. Well, that was good. But he should have been apprehended the day before, because the barber, he's saying, well, I rang the coppers and they said, leave it with us. And they did jack shit. Then a 14-year-old gets attacked. Nothing. You'd have thought the town would have been swamped with coppers. No. So it looks to me as if he should never have been on the train. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away anything from him. Obviously, he's got to be tried. It's an horrendous crime. But what's going on in Peterborough? There's the question. Maybe you want to talk about that. That part of it we can talk about, because he's not up on any charges for that yet. Jackie Ward, how hypocritical. I was just going to say my cough's getting better. But anyway, how hypocritical of all of them. She's talking about Starmer and she's talking about Khan. And I told you about this girl, Tracy Braben. I know her. She used to be in a theatre company called Bread and Circuses. They were a left-wing theatre troupe with some younger people at Birmingham, where I was. I set up my theatre company, and they copied me, basically. And then they employed her. She's a good actress. She went on then to be in Corrie. She was good in that. But now, she was always left-wing. But, now she's in the Labour Party, so I don't know what you'd call her now. But she's now the mayor of Yorkshire. She's going. I bet you every flipping mayor's going. It's one big freebie down in Rio. While they save the planet, gorging 5-star food and hobnobbing with Bill Gates and Prince William. Prince William, I don't even think he should be there. He should be here sorting out his brother, looking after his dad, sorting out his nonce of an uncle. No, they're all on the big jet. We're going to save the planet together. Why don't you all go on one plane then? Couldn't you get Stelios to take you all on an easy jet? No, of course not. Because it's one law for you and it's another law for the rest of us, isn't it? So then Jackie goes on to say, as you say, John, Zoom would be perfect for COP. It'd save a fortune on security and save polluting the atmosphere. It's just a big jolly for the lot of them. Correct. You are right. Look, I'm not even going to say your name because I think it's objectionable. But he says, I live in Brazil. So I've said what you've said, but if you want to get on my show again on this program, you'll have to change because I'm not going to read that out. You're obviously trying to make me look an idiot. You'll have to get up a lot earlier, big boy. Fraser Ford, he's put a thumb up. I'm going to ban you. I'm going to ban you any minute now, you with the funny thing. Gaunty, why have you so little followers? I've got nearly 6,000 subscribers. I've had 1.8 million views. It's going all right, thank you. I don't really need to worry about it, okay? But thank you so much. You can spread the word for me if you want to. All right, I've had enough of this twat. Let me just get rid of him. Ban user. Right, he's gone. So let's now go to Terry Wheatley. He says, so apparently the Huntington attack was not a terror attack. I'm not convinced. Well, it's this whole definition, isn't it? They decided to define terrorism that you've got to have a clear political agenda. They kind of changed it slightly with Ruda Cabana when he killed 3 little innocent girls. But it's a joke. That was terror, wasn't it? You're on the train coming out of Peterborough. Coming out of Peterborough, and some madman with a huge knife starts to slash people. That is definitely terror. And, I've had people today on Twitter going, oh, no, it's not the definition. Look up the definition. Do you not realise that they who want to control us, the politicians, they come up with these definitions to save their asses? It's a bit like when they keep going on about contempt of court. Our contempt of court rules are outdated with the internet and with the rest of it, but they use it all the time. They used it in Rio de Janeiro. We can't tell you the identity of him. We can't do this. We can't do that. It would be in contempt of court. 3 months later, Starmer tells everybody. So if it was in contempt of court when he said that, it's still in contempt of court because it hadn't gone to court. They just use these things to control you. Can't you see that? And they're doing it again. Okay? That's just my view, Terry, but thank you for your comments. If you want to comment, don't forget, you just need to write something at the bottom. James R.C. Irvin, increase police and arm them. Now, you're one of our listeners from the States, I know. I think that has got to start happening. I saw Kevin Hurley, who we've had him on a lot. He used to be the commander of the police in West London. He says now every policeman and policewoman should carry a taser. I thought they did, but evidently they don't. And he's in favour of arming a lot more of our coppers. I want to take that a little bit further. You'll just fly a kite with you. I always remember when I was over in Florida and we did some shows over there, and I met this DJ and he said, are you allowed to carry in the United Kingdom? I said, what do you mean carry? And he lifted up his waistcoat, like he had a leather waistcoat on. He was a bit of an old hippie. He had a massive gun tucked into the top of his jeans. I don't know if it must have been Florida. Yeah, it's Fort Lauderdale, I think. And he said, yeah, but I said, but won't that just increase the violence? Isn't that, the usual things that us Brits come out with? He goes, no. He said, because if somebody goes mad on a coach or a train or a plane and you've got a gun and you can blow them away, that's the end of the matter. Hard to argue. So I don't know. Definitely the police, more of them should be routinely armed, and there should be no massive investigation when they blow away some low-life scum. But I'm almost moving to the point where should we be, not necessarily guns, but should we be allowed to carry something? Like the yobbos say, oh, I've got to have a knife because the streets, everyone's got them out on the streets. Well, maybe we do. Whereas in our country, of course, at the moment, we had people like Martin, the guy out he's just passed away, hasn't he? If you use too much force, you end up in court. Now, as far as I'm concerned, you end up in my bedroom or my lounge at 3 o'clock in the morning, you ain't been invited. I should be able to kick 7 barrels of you-know-what out of you, and you should have no comeback. We're just too soft. It's like everything was too soft on the illegals, was too soft on everything. Are you with me or against me? Let's have your opinion. Oh, we've got a load of morons on tonight. Look at this. We've got David Job. Never heard of him. Got a stupid picture and he goes, God, you're a moron. Well, thank you. If I'm a moron, what are you? Because you've obviously looked me up to find me. Look after yourself, big boy. Moron. Denise Deacon, in the absence of being able to get pepper spray for self-defense, I've ordered deep heat spray for my bad back. I understand a lot of people have got strains and bad backs now and are buying the same stuff. And it's always the spray version. I couldn't possibly condone it, Denise, but I understand where you're coming from. So thank you for that. Jackie Ward, I watched Farage's Economic Vision speech today. No wonder Starmer is running scared. Farage and Reform have ideas on how to save this country, whereas Starmer doesn't want to save the country, let alone its citizens. Starmer couldn't care less about us. Well, I have to agree with you. Do you know he's not said anything about the dog walking guy who got stabbed to death in broad daylight 18 times on the streets of outer London, wasn't it? And he's not said anything really about what happened on the train. Why hasn't he got his little podium out? Because he used to love getting on there, didn't he? With the Union flags behind him. And why hasn't he addressed the nation? Was he too busy packing his budgie smugglers to get off to Rio? It's not leadership. That's cowardice. And as I said last night, I did an extra show yesterday. If you missed it, you can catch up with it on John Gaunt TV on YouTube. But he's leaving Lammy in charge. Now, it'll be funny on Wednesday because he'll get destroyed at Prime Minister's questions by Kemi. But the point is, he should have sent Lammy on the foreign trip, and he should be here reassuring the British public and getting things sorted. How many murders did we have last week? And rapes, sexual assaults of children. And then that's before we get on to the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. And then, of course, Khan. Look at the state of London. He's turned London into a shithole. But he's got elected 3 times. I don't know what. Well, I think I do know why. But he's in denial. There's no grooming gangs in London, according to Khan. Although I see his mates in the Met now are saying, well, actually, there is. But he's in denial. But he's gone off. He's gone off on Michael Bloomberg. You know, Bloomberg International, the financial people. He's gone off on his private jet. You couldn't make this up. To Rio. It's unbelievable. It really is. Let's move on. Cumbrian Mackham 9296. If only he'd sent a mean tweet, then 5 coppers would have arrested him. Well, it does seem like that, doesn't it? It does seem like that. Like, you know, what's his name again? Anthony Williams. Anthony Williams was brandishing a knife the night before in Peterborough. There's videos of him. There's a video of him Friday going into the barbers causing mayhem. And then he goes in again Saturday morning, or I think he goes Saturday morning, goes twice. This is before he got the train to London and decided he wanted to slaughter everyone. I don't care whether he's got a mental illness or not, or even if he was a jihadi, right? We will find out about that. But what I do care about is he gave ample warning that he was going to try and kill somebody with his big knife. Why wasn't he apprehended? And as you say, if he'd put up a mean tweet, they're kicking your door down at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, aren't they? The British police force are the best in the world. Well, they certainly were. I don't think they are anymore because they're definitely led by donkeys. William should be telling the king to stand up for Christian values, says Liam Bream. I heard that this useless government has taken over 400 hangers-on with them to Brazil, and Reeves will bring in carbon taxes in the budget. Well, you're right. There'll be loads of them. There'll be loads of them on the plane, all having a big fat freebie. I bet Khan's taken loads of his idiots with him as well. It's just wrong, isn't it? I mean, I'm all for making sure we get on top of climate change. I'm not convinced it's all human, you know, all down to us. But I'm into recycling. I'm into being sensible. If I bought a new car and if it was just for going around Coventry and stuff, I'd get an electric one probably. Well, especially soon because they'll be dirt cheap because no one else is buying them. But this idea of punishing people like ULEZ in London and the congestion, it's all bullshit. It is. Because then he goes and gets in a huge jet and flies to Brazil. That's Khan and Starmer, separate jets. And Starmer's on his way now. You'll notice the mainstream media haven't mentioned him today because they've all got a seat with him. They've probably all gone with him. It's all like I've told you this so many times. It's like a cuddly little club where they're all sleeping with each other, literally or metaphorically. Or secretly often, if they're men. But that's what they're doing. It's not just the pigs with the snouts in the trough. It's the journalists, so-called journalists, who are in their pockets. This is why what Elon Musk has done with Twitter, or X, has been so important. Ordinary people now are having their say, not just me, but lots of people. Even people who aren't what I call journalists in the sense of being trained, or broadcasters, but they want to have a say and they're saying it, and good on them. I don't think it should be a total free-for-all. I think you still got to respect the law. But the mainstream lamestreams had it too long in all of their favour, haven't they? Don't you think? You watch tomorrow. Put your breakfast telly on. Certainly by Tuesday evening, if not tomorrow morning, it'll all be, oh, here's our correspondent in Rio. I saw it on the 6 o'clock news just as I walked upstairs. Some woman was going on about how, well, Williams had this great idea. He's using football. This is how thick this idea is, right? Brazil, football. Right, okay. William, Aston Villa, sort of football. So there's a whole initiative about football to save the planet. What a load of tosh. Talking of which, he should be here banning the march on Thursday. You heard about this march? Huge march. 250,000 radical people are going to march on Villa Park because that's the day the Villa are meant to be, well, they are playing Tel Aviv, Maccabi Tel Aviv. They're not going to watch the match. They're going to protest. And they keep saying things like, it's our town, it's our area, it's us. It's scary as shit, I tell you. And it should be banned, but there we are. It won't be because Starmer's in Rio. We'll start protecting ourselves. Then. It's not difficult. Fight fire with fire. Well, that's the worry, Philip. I think people will start doing that. That's Philip Gardner on Facebook. Who we got next? Christmas speech from the King says, you rely too much on what you think the King can do. He may be able to do all these things that lots of people keep coming up with. But wake up, smell the coffee. He ain't going to do it. He just isn't going to do it. Right? So there's not going to be a constitutional crisis. It's just not going to happen. Anybody else want to comment? It's not about Christianity. It's about human decency, says Off to the Pub. I don't know what you're on about there, mate, because you haven't said what you're relation to. What has Sadiq Khan got to do with it any more than any other mayor? Well, he's the mayor of the capital city, I guess. But what I'm trying to tell you, Dawn, it's not just him going. The mayor of some godforsaken part of Yorkshire, I can't even remember if it's West Yorkshire or North Yorkshire. I don't mean Yorkshire's godforsaken. I love the place. But Tracy Brabin, ex-Coronation Street actress for a short while, she's gone as well. She's already got pictures of her in Brazil wearing a big white dress. Well, it might be a tent, I'm not sure. So she's already there. She's already there. I still don't understand. Yesterday there were 2 and today there's 1, says Lee Goatee 3716. Well, yeah, they arrested 2 people, didn't they, yesterday? And they were keen to tell us one was black and one was of Caribbean descent. I think it's the one of Caribbean descent that they've released. They also tasered him. Now, some people have been criticising the police saying, well, they tasered the wrong person. They didn't. They tasered both of them. And at the time, that's what they would do, isn't it? It's understandable. Made a mistake. He'll get some big compo for it. What I'm waiting for, though, is his story to come out. Because I bet you, knowing how Fleet Street works, I bet you Her Majesty's Gutter Press, of which I used to be a member, they'll be tracking him down and offering him cash to speak. Because he's got a great story to tell. Yeah? He's not a terrorist. He wasn't involved. He's completely innocent, but he got arrested. He'll be able to tell the tale about what happened in the carriage. Because also, I've got to be careful, but within the carriage, there's a lot of conflicting stories coming out, aren't there? And also, this guy, they've now given us his name, Anthony Williams. And it looks like there's no terrorism links there. But like I say, what about the wider issue? Has he got a criminal record, anything like that? And I get very suspicious when people start saying, oh, contempt, especially when it's a bit controversial. You may have a different view. Feel free to tell me. I know police, at least 90% of officers don't want firearms. A lot of them already refuse taser training. They don't feel protected by the law if they have to use it and the pay rate. Well, number one, you're right. They don't, although I think you'll find the latest poll of serving police officers, most of them were in favour of it. As for refusing taser training, they should get the boot. You don't want to use the taser, get out. We need coppers. We're not into having a load of Careful what the word you use there, John. A load of, I don't want to use violence. I want to go back to the days when every copper, my dad didn't even get into, he wanted to be in the Hull police. So he had to move to Coventry because he was just under 6 foot tall. And the rule was 6 foot, literally like minute underneath it. So he came to Coventry. But have you seen some of the coppers now on the streets? They make Sadiq Khan look like a giant. They're not available at Christmas because they've all got pantos. It's ludicrous. Now, I'm not against women, although I think it's mad when they put 2 women on the beat together. Although I used to do the police bravery awards, and I'll tell you, some of those women, the things they got up to, the way they apprehended people, were just fantastic. So I'm not saying that women can't be tough and strong and all the rest of it, but I'm just saying we've got to be logical, haven't we? And if you don't want to use a taser, get out. Don't join the police. Go and work in Tesco's. Although I do take on board the bit that you say when they don't feel protected by the law. Well, that's because they've got these rainbow warriors, rainbow laces, bosses, straight out of university, who end up being go straight in at inspector and haven't walked and run and been on the mean streets, so to speak. So I understand that where you're coming from. And our police should have much more protection. The presumption should be of innocence, not of guilt, which is what it seems to be at the moment. I mean, there was Tony Lord. I've interviewed him loads of times. He pulled his gun, killed somebody. He killed a right hoodlum, but he ended up being suspended for months, years. So I understand why coppers don't want to do it. But that's a firearm. But if you change the rules, they'd have to. But certainly in terms of tasers, I don't think any copper should be able to refuse it. If you disagree with me, let me know. Sick of hearing the lame excuses. This country is broken. Vote or reform, says Paul Rowbottom. David Gray, what are you talking about? Of course they must go to represent British people. Are you insane? If our voice is not heard at these events, we will have no say in the outcome, says David Gray. David, have you just got in from the sixth form? Did I say we shouldn't go? No. Did I say it should be on Zoom? Yes. Did I say that Lammy could go instead of Starmer? Did you know, David Gray, as you're all knowing and, you think I'm insane, did you know Starmer wasn't going to go? He only decided to go in the last couple of weeks because of that gap-toothed idiot, Zach, whatever his name is, who's running the Greens, because he's become popular, as is the way, with the way our stupid press promote people. He thought he had to go. Otherwise, he'd lose votes to the Greens, which is what's happening in the polls, as well as to Nigel Farage. That's why he's going. Well, apart from the fact he always likes to be out of the country and he's got more air miles than Judith Chalmers, he's also going because he likes the big fat freebies. Starmer loves it. So I'm not saying we shouldn't send a representative. We'll send the Jaffa Cake King. And we are represented at the top table with the 5th strongest economy in the world. But this idea that they've all got to go to Brazil and they've all got to hobnob it, and that's not a biscuit, David, that's a term, is ludicrous. Hope I put you right. Hope you understand where I'm coming from now. Right, anybody going to contribute tonight? You're very slow on your donations. Come on, guys. Click the little dollar sign and give me a few quid, or alternatively go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Where are we going next? Den Spinks. Richard Pope said, good evening, John, from Coventry. Sorry, I didn't. What do you mean? Is he from Coventry? Richard Pope is a good lad. He's just joined me as a. He's paying. He's committed to pay 15 quid a month on Buy Me a Coffee. So it's a regular income. Thank you very much, Rich. My daughter's mother was a high school principal in Fort Lauderdale, and she carried a 9mm handgun whilst teaching. I tell you what, I bet there's some teachers in this country that like to do that, Simon. I tell you, it's getting to a stage. And I am flying a bit of a kite here. I certainly think women, like that lady who texted in earlier, Denise, said she's carrying deep heat in her handbag. I understand why. I would never condemn somebody for that. Obviously, it's against the law. But what are you meant to do when somebody tries to rape you? I think, I won't say any more, but what do you think? It feels like Starmer is out of the country more than he's here. And how much does it all cost, says Lisa Carvel? It'll cost fortunes. Fortunes, Lisa. He's got his own jet. It's not his, it's the Prime Minister's. But yeah, he'll be in that. And somebody else said earlier, 400 hangers on, or Klingons, as I like to call them, if you don't mind the image, have gone with him. And like, if Starmer's going and he's in the Labour Party, why does Khan need to go? Or that actress woman I'm telling you about, Tracy Brabin, she's Labour as well. Can't they report back? Like you would in a normal firm. Oh, we can't send all of you, but Lisa, you go. And then when you come back, give us a breakdown on what was discussed at that business meeting for us. Not politicians. No. Choo-choo. We're all on the gravy train. Next stop, Brussels. Next stop, the WEF. We'll get a big fat job there. Or choo-choo. We're going to get a job at the United Nations. I was in the pawnbrokers in Florida, not me. This is Mick, Frinton-on-Sea. A beautiful blonde woman was serving me. As I looked down, I could see she had a gun in a holster. There must be a joke there somewhere, Mick. But anyway, nearly every country you can protect yourself with pepper spray. But in the UK, you're not allowed anything. Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong, especially with the rate of rape and murders and sexual assaults. Mick, I'm with you 100%. I'd love to... Well, no, careful. I was going to say, I'd love to see them try a woman who's sprayed some filthy pervert who's trying to rape her with deep heat. But you know what it's like in this country. They probably would do her, wouldn't they? They probably would. Huh? The rapist would get a PlayStation, 3 meals, all mod cons, a couple of days in prison, and then be let out, and then the next thing you know, it'll be on some celebrity TV show. Den Spinks, good evening. John from Warsaw. I'm getting confused now what you're doing. You're talking to each other. Fraser Ford, Lammy is a better con man. That's why. Thank you. Starmer has used his position to bet himself on the world stage. Yes, he has. What happens here is beneath him, and it's getting worse, and we can all see it. I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that. Not only crime, murders, etc., we've also been 10 years behind America. Look at shopping centres, the end of high street shops. We may need to arm the police and ourselves if we legalise it, of course. Thank you for your comments. Liam says, if the Met made all officers armed, they would all leave. No, they wouldn't. It's pathetic, that. What do you mean? I really admire them when they get no extra pay and they volunteer to be an armed response officer. One of my family was one, actually. So I'm not criticising them. I think they're great people, men and women, right? But the idea that every copper would leave is nonsense. You've been reading Twitter too much. Lefties on Twitter. But let's have the debate. And as I say, the last poll, which police officers took, the Police Federation, I think it was, they were in favour of being armed, and I don't blame them. Lots of the British police do not want to carry firearms in Britain, says Gregory Harding. I've just told you what the actual facts are, but thank you for your comments. Mick Frinton-on-Sea, Khan has the support of cyclists, liberals, vegans, and minorities, of which there are millions in London. Yeah, obviously. That's his thing. Liam Bream's not giving up, is he, on this police nonsense? SO19 officer shot a man on duty that had a firearm in his house. Google, it says in brackets, the government tried to give him life in jail. Well, it's not quite true, but yes, there was a trial. You're right. Yeah. And that's what you change. You don't have to therefore say we won't have any guns. Hi, John. I totally agree with you about that. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, see, Liam, you don't understand the facts. You read things on Google and you believe it. It says SO19 officers SO19 officers handed in their arms in the masses. Well, there's not masses anyway, but they did. A lot of them did hand in their license because they felt the copper wasn't being treated. But the copper in the end got exonerated, and now they're all back on the streets. I know these guys. They used to be big fans of mine when I was on BBC London. I've stopped driving into London altogether now. It now costs an extra £12.50 just to pop into Chess from Leatherhead in my car. So no shopping in Kingston now. So now I go to Guildford. Well, I think a lot of people have done that. He means Chessington. He's just said what he meant. So thank you for that. Annette Locke. Way back in the past, they were known as robber barons. Has anything ever changed in any time? Yeah, good point, Annette. She's talking about the ruling classes. What's this one say? Howdy, John. Howdy, folks. Charlie Barton 7955 on YouTube. Maggie Young is saying on Facebook, my family and friends are moving to small villages through fear as we're being pushed away out of our cities. Yes, definitely. Definitely. What's this one say? Can newspapers still afford to pay big money these days, says Charles Freeman? Not the kind of money they used to pay for stories. I agree with you there, Charles. But the story of the bloke who was on the train who got arrested by mistake, they'd pay thousands for that story. And yes, they can if the story is good enough, because then it gets syndicated. What's on his computer and under his bed, says Denise Deacon. Who are you talking about? Let's move on. Excuse me. In the military police, we were routinely armed. Hence, 2 female MPs couldn't patrol together, as women couldn't be compelled to carry a gun. I didn't know that, Simon. Thank you. And I must admit, I was just thinking, I don't know if you've been watching it. It's absolutely brilliant. That new cop series. Well, it's not new. They've had about 5 series, but it's just come into its own. It's on the BBC. Got to say, is it called Blue? Some Blue Lights or something like that. That's all set in Belfast. Well, in Belfast, of course, part of the United Kingdom, they do carry a weapon. They do. If you live in Northern Ireland, you've got a view on that. I'd love to hear it. Please let me hear from you. And of course, at airports, most of the coppers are armed there as well. Ryan H says it's actually unlawful to carry any weapon in public. Correct, it is in this country, including DP. So if you do, don't admit that it's there to protect yourself. Well, I think that's what Denise was trying to say. Yeah, you should only carry it if you've sprained your wrist or your ankle or whatever. And then, of course, when you got attacked, it was just the first thing that came to hand. But that law should be changed. A woman has a right to protect herself, especially when a government is not protecting your wives, your daughters, whatever. Look at the statistics. So some flip-flop warriors are coming in and then sexually assaulting or raping women. Do these women not have any protection? Because Starmer's not protecting them. He's letting in every Tom, Dick and Fred, isn't he? Anybody can come into our country. It's easier to get in at Dover than it is at Gatwick or Heathrow. I'm not making it up. It's fact. One for another night, John. The BBC have been caught out for changing Trump's speech. I love it. Yeah, I saw that story, Craig. I didn't want to talk about it tonight because I thought most people won't have seen the news that broke this afternoon. Yeah, it's Panorama. It's an absolute disgrace. It could be the end of the BBC. Basically, we know when Trump did that speech before the riots after he lost the first election or had it stolen, depending on your views, it looked like he incited everyone to walk to the Capitol and basically, all the riots and everything that ensued afterwards. It's now come out that the BBC cut together 2 speeches which were an hour apart to make it look like he incited them. There's going to be hell to pay over it. Absolutely. Tim Davey, who I know, he's going to go. He's the Director General because he can't defend that. You just can't. Because that's not journalism. That is not journalism. That's propaganda. And the BBC must not do that. El Trainer 2827. If it wasn't for that train guard, things could have been much worse. I'm amazed that nobody lost their life on the train. Men of this country need to stand up like that guy and fight back. That's a good sentiment, El Trainer. Thank you for making it. Where are we going next? John, I'm concerned that we'll need to wear stab vests when we leave our homes. I tell you what, yeah, you're right. You can see why coppers wear them, can't you? Anybody else want to comment? I've got a few more comments and then I'm going to stop. It'd be nice if somebody also gave a little donation so I feel as if I'm worthy, but it's up to you. Den Spink says, don't think we can sing things, can only get better anymore. Thanks, Blair, you devil. Yeah, things can only get better. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I noticed BBC National and Regional News wished everyone a peaceful night on their sign-offs last night. Did they? I didn't see that. I didn't see it. Mick Frinton and C says, the BBC have sunk to a new low. I can't pay for the TV licence anymore. Annette Locke says it's the British Bullshit Corporation. We'll talk about this story tomorrow. Once everyone's had a chance to look at it on the internet and also read it, see it on TV. I mean, GB News had it. It's the Daily Telegraph who've got the story. And it's an incredible story. I just can't believe that the BBC would do it. I mean, the BBC, in terms of being biased and impartiality and the rest of it, yes, of course. But actually falsifying this, it's incredible. I was incredibly, everything's incredible. I was incredibly proud to work for the BBC when I first got a job there. It was like, this is the best. This and it opens doors all over the world. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm on the radio. Who thought the BBC? Yeah, but not now. It's a tragedy. It really is. Don't get me wrong. I want to scrap the license fee. There's certain parts I'd still pay for, but most of what I listen to is rubbish. But then as I say, that Blue Light, is it called Blue Lights? Set in Belfast? Brilliant bit of telly. Brilliant. Craig says, thank you, John. Take care. I will. Simon Hatt says, Mick and I both sent you Facebook stars tonight. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I must say, I got a little notification from Facebook saying, oh, we owe you X amount. It was 50 quid or something, 40 quid or something. All helps. And I didn't know what it was for. And it is for these star things. Evidently on Facebook, if you watch it on there, you can give me stars. Or you can subscribe. There's another thing on there. You can subscribe to my faith. I didn't know. There's about 60 people subscribed. Very kind of you. I think it's 99p a month. Peanuts, but thanks. There's a million different ways you can help me. So just do one of them. Or do all of them if you want. Jackie Ward sent me the 3 red hearts. That means it's time for me to go. So I'm going to get off. I shall see you again tomorrow at 6:30. Hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We'll talk about the BBC tomorrow and we'll talk about some other stuff. There's some other great stories about it at the moment. It's just finding the time to get them all into one show. And, hey, what about Coventry? So we lost, but we're still top of the division because Middlesbrough lost. So it wasn't too bad, was it? It's not been such a bad weekend. And have you noticed? My voice is so much better. I've never thought I'd get over it. But on and on and on and on and on. But I'm fighting, well, I'm not fighting fit, but I'm getting there. All right, all the best. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. See you tomorrow at 6:30. All the best. Bye.